Uh, First of all, thanks all for choosing this topic and being part of the session. I am Vjosa Sahiti, CEO at Nerdy Creative, a company that helps clients digitalizing their products and building their online presence. So today we'll be talking about the future of e-commerce and most importantly, how can we benefit from it as a new seller, as a store that wants to go online. So as an IT person, I believe data, and that's why in order to prepare this presentation, I have made some researches, and this is the methodology that I used for this presentation. It's based on data, and data that was conducted from e-commerce platforms such as Shopify, WooCommerce, Magenta, Shopwire, Amazon, and other e-commerce platforms. Also on the researches that were conducted by organizations such as World Trade Organization, Deloitte, Google, IBM. Also, we took data from PayPal and FedEx as shipping and payment gateways. So we know how is the general state of e-commerce in general. So what is e-commerce, and why did I choose this topic today for you? E-commerce is the only thing that has a benefit from a pandemic. This is really interesting since if we see the graph that we have in the background, it has always been growing since the presence, and in 2009, it was in a solid state. But after a while, it kept growing organically. People were going to buy online. But during the pandemic, it was 10 years growth only in 3 months. And this is as a fact of pandemic and people going to buy online. During this time, we had 150 million new users going to stores and buying online for the first time. And 50% of them told that they will be continuing to buy online even after the pandemic is gone. This is quite huge, and how can we benefit from it? How can we make it work on our advantage? So first of the things that I want to discuss is how can you work with your customers? How can you make them want you online? If you're starting your business online and you didn't have a store before, that's quite challenging. But if you had a physical store, that's even more as a challenge. After pandemic, people now are used, even though we are still in a pandemic phase, but it's more quiet now, and people, the stores are opening, the physical contact is now not forbidden as it was before. So one of the things that people and the customers, your customers now are used, is the accessibility. They don't care if you only sell on Facebook or if you have your online store. They want to access you from every sales channel that they use. And this is one of the main things that you should have in mind. Also, is the easy to use. Now, with the biggest players like Walmart or other competitors entering the market, is it a standard that e-commerce should be accessible, easy to use, and also fast? What I mean by fast is that only 3 seconds a user wastes on your store before they drop it. So it should be loading in less than 3 seconds. Can we go, please, to the next slide? It's not working. Okay, so we see that 93% of users drop your stores if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. And this is really challenging with the mobile development and mobile-first stores, because 50% of the users are now shopping from mobile. In our everyday life, even in here, more than 90% or even larger number of percentage are shopping or using mobile phones. And more than 50% of your store users are from mobile. And achieving this less than 3 seconds of load time is really challenging. Before this slide, we saw that it was the drivers of online purchasing. So it was a survey that told that people will continue using. If you see this number, there are more than 50%, all of them. So this is the reason why people are buying online, and why will they continue to buy online. 63% told that direct home delivery is one of the main things that they shop online. But also is because of cheaper prices, and because they are more likely to shop more if they are in the online store than in a physical store. And how this changed the marketing, because part of the e-commerce and even your real store, the most important parts is the marketing. How did that change? In the beginning of 2020, it was less than $1, so 0.75 to get a click on Facebook. But during the time, it changed to even 100% raise, and now we are at $1 for a click. So this changed a lot of things in the way we do marketing. And as I said, with a lot of big players entering the online store market, such as Walmart, they have the money, and they have the resources to do the marketing. And how can you beat them? In order to beat them, you have to have an omnichannel strategy. And by omnichannel strategy, I mentioned before that you should be on all channels. Unfortunately, this is not something that you can do. There are a lot of sales channels, and you cannot be on all of them. You have to target and do some research where the customers that you see as potential clients purchase. So where they buy, in which channel. If you see that they are buying on Facebook, then you should go for it. If you see that your customers are buying on Instagram or only on Amazon, that you should go and connect your store with it. The most important thing is to have an online store by yourself, so in your domain, because that affects on how people see your brand. Now we see that a lot of stores are only entering one sales channel, and it's not good, because as you see, we talked about mobile shopping, and while people are on mobiles, most of them use social media. So why is it important to be on all channels? Is because if you want to do the social shopping, you have to target them while they are doing what they want. So if they are searching on Facebook, or they are navigating on their social platform that they like, you should be there. You should advertise there, and not just advertise. You should also be you should also be there with the shopping. We saw that Shopify, WooCommerce, and all made it really easy to check out from the social media, and this is the future. People will not go and buy from your store. They will buy from their sales channel, what they like. So if they are using, for example, LinkedIn, you should also target the people in there, even though they cannot buy from there. Make it really easy and fast to buy from everywhere. That's what we talked a little bit earlier. So your store has to have an experience that they don't want to drop. Like if they have less than 3 seconds for every page, it will be tempting to them to go to checkout and to see how things go. One of the main things of the future of shopping and the post-pandemic thing is the virtual. We conducted a research together with Shopify and saw that it was actually the return that killed the new business. So people before were used to go to a store, saw the size of the product, and see if that fits in their home or if that fits for them, and buy it. But when you purchase online, you don't have a visual aspect of how would that look in your home. It can be too large, it can be too small. So that's why you have to integrate AR. The AR is the new thing for Shopify and for all the e-commerce platforms. You have to integrate that in your store. There is a great support, so you have to, the clients have to see how it really looks, and that relates with the eighth point. So you have to really, even if you're not at a state that you can afford having augmented or virtual reality in your store, since it's for larger players, you can have videos. So you can let them see in one click how it looks, your product. Even add other products to compare it. So for example, if I sell a laptop or a lamp, I want to put something there that they know how the size of it, and they can compare how much larger, how it looks with the other things. And the automate return. So you have to always be cautious what is the return rate of your product, because it's important, and this is killing the businesses. Because if you ship a product, even though the clients pay for the shipping, it will cost you more than the shipping. It will cost you the people that work for you, or if you don't have a warehouse having as part of drop shipping, it will cost you having a lot of products that you don't know what to do with it, and you don't know if they will be purchased or when. And offer click and collect. This is like very different if we're talking about the slide when we have the reasons why people purchase online. 63% of them said that they wanted their order to be shipped to their home, and this is why they are using the e-commerce and shopping online. But actually, when people were asked, what is the feature that you want to do, your store wants to have, all of them said that they want to click and collect. Because sometimes you're in a hurry, you want to buy something online because it has a discount, or you saw it there and you like it, but you want to have faster than the shipping that they have. And this is for locals, so if you have a local store, you should want to have a click and collect option. And there are, in Canada, there are now places where you, even if you don't have a physical store, you can send your products and people can collect it from there. And this is like one of the most controversial features, but that people want to have, and it can affect your e-commerce. And think about building your brand. With more than half of the e-commerce happening in marketplaces like eBay, Amazon, you cannot, where the search there is unbranded. So if you go there, you cannot say that I want to buy from Nordic Creative Store. You only go there and find you have a problem, so you want to buy something, to purchase something, and you say, I want to buy it, but you don't care from who you buy it. You just choose the option that suits you, that has the best product. And people maybe are buying from your store, but they don't know you as a brand. And building a brand has never been more important and more and harder, because building a brand, it makes you stand above the competition. We said that Walmart entered the industry of e-commerce during during the pandemic. But how can you compete with Walmart? Not if you're an unbranded store and go for it and sell as many as you can. You have to build a brand. You have to have your own store, and this is like part of the branding. It always should be your online store. And also send the products, when people buy from you, send the products branded. And one of the things that made e-commerce really interesting during this phase of the pandemic, it was that it changed the way the e-commerce is perceived. Before, it was cosmetics, sports, the categories that were most selling, or even the clothes line. But now, guess what? It's food, so it's groceries. Everyone, during pandemic, it has a panic that we'll run out of groceries. So we went online and start buying them online and found out that it actually is really easy, and it saves us a lot of time. You can actually read the ingredients. In the market, you cannot go and stay like for a half an hour reading an ingredient, or the ingredient list is so small that you cannot even see it. In the online work, that is not, and a lot of people are choosing now online to do the groceries. This is these surveys and researches are in a global level, because we know in Kosovo yet that is not implemented. And this is some of the biggest players in terms of marketplaces and how they generated in 2019, which was even before the pandemic started. So we see that even with these numbers, only 70% of the sales are done online. So there is a lot of potential, and there is yet a lot of opportunity for you to go online and sell your products. Since it's generally known that by 2025, it will be nearly 50% of the shopping that will be online. As a new business, I want to start a store. Where should I start? You should research for the platforms. You should research what different e-commerce platforms offer. So if you're going to have an omnichannel, so be on all sales channel, maybe you want to see someone that already provides it, not go and implement after you start using. If you want to, you should you should search for someone that is mobile first, so you don't have to worry about that part. Also, with the integration of the social media. And most importantly, you should see the platform that generates reports. Even this, in short terms, it doesn't give a value. In the long term, you'll see what your customers are doing and start doing business in that part and finding the right partner. This is like the key point of the starting a new business. People at Shopify, WooCommerce, Magenta made it really easy for you to start an online store. But that is so generic. You cannot build a brand. You cannot be different. You'll be like, if 10 people decided to start an online store, they will have the same theme, the same features. But you want to be different. So when users enter your store, they see that, I know this brand, I remember. And this is by finding the right technical partner, so they can do this modification to you. Sometimes even the modifications are provided by the platform, but for a thing that will take you 2 weeks to be completed, it will be only 2 hours of the skilled technical partner. So it's worth paying because you'll be saving a lot of time, and that can be really that can be really good in the part when everything is so dynamic and changing really fast. And also online marketing, because part of the pandemics, before it was television, newspaper, billboards, even some online marketing, but now the marketing is going all online. And what are the key players on the e-commerce platforms are the ones that were already there when the pandemic happens. So we don't have to wait for another wave of pandemics, but we can start now, and when the pandemics or another things happen that we didn't plan, because we didn't plan the pandemics. So when other things happens, we're already there and will be prepared. Why the players that were in the market were more successful than the other ones is because they didn't have to shift. So they didn't have to change the way that they work. They were already there, and when the customers came, they were already there, and they were expecting the customers. This is my presentation. Thanks a lot. Hope that some of you will potentially start a new store, or if you were thinking of it. And the last thing that I want to say is that this is my presentation for the future of e-commerce, but most importantly, the future is e-commerce. If someone has a question or something that I can help with, I'll be here to answer. Okay, I think I was even so clear, or you didn't understand me a lot. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.